Good morning, everyone. It looks like we have some active weather heading for the United States over the next few days. And this pattern is going to bring some challenges, including the return of some stronger storms. That means we'll need to be prepared for some gusty winds, the potential for hail, and even the risk of a tornado. And on top of that, a good deal of rain could lead to some flooding concerns in areas like California and even back into the central and southern plains. So, in our forecast today, we're going to walk through exactly what you need to know to plan for the weather impacting the United States over the next 7 days. And we'll begin with what's happening across the country right at this moment. We're actually seeing a bit of winter weather making its way across the Northeast right now. There's a little bit of snow in northern New England this morning. For the rest of the Northeast, it's mostly just some rain you can expect for the next several hours. You know, we did have a tornado warning last night back over in southwest Pennsylvania. I'm sure that may have caught some folks by surprise. There was a small chance for some stronger storms in the forecast, but thankfully, we didn't see anything in the way of widespread, serious weather. There were just some scattered gusty winds and perhaps a brief rotating storm, but outside of that, no tornadoes have been confirmed from yesterday's weather, which is wonderful news. And so, over the next 24 hours, this weather is going to move on out to sea. That'll make room for our next storm, which will be coming in off the California coastline in a couple of days. A storm system is gathering its strength just off the shore from Los Angeles this morning. This is going to travel inland, reaching the central plains later tonight and into early tomorrow. That will bring the chance for some showers and maybe a few rumbles of thunder, and even a little bit of snowfall across the northern plains and the Midwest from Monday into Tuesday. And then as we get to Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to see another storm come off the coast of California. And that's the one that could bring a little bit of everything when it comes to stronger weather, like flooding from heavy rainfall and a lot of other concerns. Now, over the next few days, we are going to see a few different storms affecting the United States. So let's talk a little more about that by taking a look at the bigger picture, what's happening high up in the atmosphere. Here's what it looks like right now. We have a big dip in the pattern in the upper air currents that are moving across the Midwest and the Northeast. That's what's allowing some of that colder air to settle in and move toward New England over the next couple of days. Now, we're keeping an eye on a storm system that is just starting to make its way into California, and that's going to bring a little bit of stormy weather to the Central Plains and the Ohio Valley tomorrow. And along with that, we might see a touch of snowfall too. We'll talk more about those details in just a moment. But first, let's look at how our weather pattern is going to change from Monday into Tuesday. That little area of unsettled weather will make its way right over Nebraska and Iowa. We may see a few strong storms pop up tomorrow evening, but it doesn't look like anything too widespread or concerning at this point. Now, off the coast of California is where our next big storm system will be waiting for us on Tuesday. This is going to bring more rain to the folks on the West Coast, which means we'll need to be mindful of some potential flooding. But the time we're really keeping a close watch on is Wednesday, Thursday, and into Friday for everyone in the central and southern plains and the deep south, as we could see some strong storms and a risk for flooding all within a 72-hour period. So this is going to be a big storm that we'll need to watch together and be prepared for. Now, the biggest question for us right now is how this storm system develops from Wednesday into Thursday, and especially how fast it moves. You see, that speed is going to tell us a lot about how strong the storms might get and exactly where the heaviest rain is going to set up. But for now, it looks like from Wednesday into Thursday is when we're going to have some very warm air moving up from the south across Oklahoma, Texas, and even parts of Arkansas, and that's the kind of thing that can fuel some stronger weather. This could all get started as early as Wednesday in Texas, but Thursday is looking like the main day for the southern plains, with the biggest concern being some strong, gusty winds. And we can't rule out the possibility of a few tornadoes, so it's a good time to stay aware. Then, as we get into Friday and Saturday, this storm system will begin to stretch out and lose some of its steam. It won't be nearly as organized, and it's not going to be as strong overall, but it will still be able to bring some showers and maybe a lingering chance for a strong storm on Friday to parts of the Ohio Valley. And then by Saturday and Sunday, the whole thing just gets swept up and carried away to the north into Canada. And that will help clear things out for us as we head into the very end of November. You might have been hearing some chatter about a big chill heading our way. And it does look like sometime during the last few days of November, we're going to feel some of that colder air moving across the country. Now, it's still a little too early for us to know for sure just how chilly it will get or exactly when that colder air will arrive. But it does seem likely we'll be feeling that change during the last week of November, right around the Thanksgiving holiday. All right, let's shift gears and talk about the weather system that's heading our way over the next few days. We'll start with what's happening today. For our friends in New England and in parts of New York and Pennsylvania, you're still seeing some snow coming down. For the most part, it's a very light snow, so we aren't expecting a whole lot to pile up today. You might just see another inch or two on top of what you got overnight. Then, later today, we'll continue to see a good bit of rain along the west coast, with some snow up in the mountains in places like Utah, Nevada, and of course, California. Come early Monday, this weather system is going to travel across the northern plains. It's taking a bit of an unusual path, heading up to the northeast. It's set to move toward the northern plains on Monday morning. And the good news is, that path will actually help lower the chances for any rough weather on Monday. We will be keeping an eye on some snowfall across Minnesota and Wisconsin on Monday, so please be prepared for that. It looks like some spots could get around 2 to 4, and maybe even 3 to 6 inches of snow from Monday evening into early Tuesday. There's a very small chance of a few stronger storms on Monday evening. Now, some of the ingredients for stronger storms might be around in parts of Oklahoma, but thankfully, other conditions aren't right for them to develop, which is a real blessing. So, I truly believe the chance of any concerning weather is almost zero for Monday evening. The main thing to watch for might be a few storms that could bring some small hail, especially in parts of Missouri and Illinois. So, just keep an eye on the sky there. That would mostly be an overnight concern for those areas. Moving on to Tuesday morning, the snow will keep falling across parts of Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. So, just be ready for a little more snow. But again, we're not expecting it to be very heavy at all. Snow from this, and certainly not the kind of heavy, focused snow that could bring us a foot or more, like that big lake effect snow we all remember from just over a week ago. Now, as we look ahead to Wednesday morning, a new weather system will be getting organized down in the desert southwest through the afternoon and evening. It's going to be pulling in a whole lot of moisture from both the Gulf of Mexico and the Pacific, and that's going to bring quite a bit of rain to Texas and Oklahoma starting Wednesday evening and continuing into Thursday. You can really see just how much rain is expected to fall in that area. All those greens and yellows on the map mean we're looking at some steady and at times heavy rain for much of Wednesday and Thursday. And all that rainfall could lead to a risk for some localized flooding across the central and southern plains, so please be careful. Now, there is a chance for some stronger storms on Wednesday, but as of right now, it's a bit too early to say for sure. It all depends on how this weather system comes together. If we do see some of those stronger storms pop up on Wednesday, they'd likely be across parts of Oklahoma and Texas. But the day we'll be watching more closely for some active weather will most likely be Thursday, when these storms have a chance to become a bit more organized. By then, the whole weather system will be a little more well-defined. The conditions on Thursday could make for a pretty unsettled afternoon and evening, with a few clusters of thunderstorms that could bring some gusty winds with them. It's also the kind of setup where we have to keep an eye out for the possibility of a few rotating storms just because of the way the winds will be acting in the atmosphere on Thursday. So, we'll want everyone from Kansas City all the way down to Houston, Texas to stay weather aware. This includes our friends in Oklahoma City and in the Dallas-Fort Worth area on Thursday. Then, as we get into early Friday, this system will start to move up into the Midwest. It's going to get pretty stretched out and will begin to lose a lot of its energy. So, the chance for any rough weather really goes down by the time we get to Friday. But if any stronger storms do manage to hold together on Friday, I think they would be found mostly across the Mississippi River Valley and into parts of the Ohio Valley. And then for your weekend, Saturday and Sunday look much calmer as things dry out. As for next week, well, the picture becomes a little less clear, but we'll be watching it closely for you. Well, it looks like the weather is going to keep us on our toes for the last week of November. I'm talking about right around the Thanksgiving holiday and into Black Friday, so we'll want to plan ahead. Now, as we go through the work week, we're expecting to see a good deal of rain And I know for some of you, that's welcome news for your gardens and plants. But for others, we'll need to be mindful of a real risk for some flooding. It looks like Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday will bring the heaviest downpours, and you can see that some areas, even all the way across Oklahoma and Texas, could get a good soaking of 2 to 4 inches of rain. But take a look at this one particular area right along the Red River Valley. That's a little clue telling us that yes, we could see some spots get anywhere from 4 to 8 inches of rain in a very short amount of time. We're talking about all that rain falling in just 24 to 48 hours for some of these places, which means we need to be prepared for some flooding that could get quite serious at times. And if we look a little farther north of this weather system across the Midwest, that's where we are expecting to see a widespread 1 to 3 inches of rain. Now, that total includes the rain from the smaller system coming in over the next couple of days, but it also counts the rain from the bigger storm arriving on Thursday and Friday. And then for our friends in the Ohio Valley, you're also likely to see around 1 to 3 inches of rain. So this will certainly help with the dry conditions, but it is going to be an awful lot of rain for some folks, particularly in Texas and Oklahoma, where a few specific areas could see totals climbing up over 8 inches. Now, looking at the next couple of weeks, we're going to be on a bit of a temperature roller coaster. As you can see, right now it's feeling warmer than usual all across the Rockies, the West Coast, and also in the southern plains. There's a little pocket of chilly air building right now over the Great Lakes. And as we get into Monday and Tuesday, a lot of that cold air is going to make its way right into New England and across the mid-Atlantic. It's going to feel much colder than it should for this time of year. In some areas, maybe as much as 20 degrees below normal in places like Washington, D.C. come Monday. Then, as we get to Tuesday and Wednesday, the warmer air will start to build back in, anywhere east of the Rockies. We'll have some chilly air, though, across the desert southwest for Wednesday and Thursday. And then as we look toward the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, there really isn't going to be much of a temperature change for most of the United States. In fact, for everyone living east of the Rockies, you can expect very few, if any, cold fronts coming through to stir things up. We will have a very gentle cool front on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, bringing some unsettled weather, but that's not that deep Arctic cold. We're talking about maybe a 5 to 10 degree difference in temperatures over a 24-hour period from this little front. So really, nothing too dramatic to plan for as we wrap up the week. But by the time we get into the last week of November, I have been hinting at this a couple of times. We did talk a little bit about this yesterday. I've seen some posts going around on social media about a big Arctic blast. And yes, that is a possibility. It's just a little too early to know for sure when that might happen or just how cold it will feel. So please be sure to stay tuned to the channel and we'll keep you posted. Again, I do think the very end of November and the beginning of December will feel colder than usual for much of the United States. It's just a matter of how much of a chill that Arctic air will bring with it, but it does look very likely that a change is on the way. And if you'd like a second opinion, you don't have to take my word for it. Just look at the Climate Prediction Center's forecast for the very end of November into early December. It's pointing to a higher chance of colder than normal temperatures across the central and northern plains, the Midwest, and then back over into the Northeast, and warmer than usual temperatures down across the Southeast. This pattern would certainly encourage some of that chilly air to move in, and we could even see some snow to go along with it. So, it looks like things are about to get pretty interesting as we close out the month. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and spending a little part of your day with me. If you're new to our community here, we'd love it if you'd subscribe down below. And just a friendly reminder, we do have a special sale going on over at shopmaxvelocity.net. We have a lot of wonderful items, including our new Happy Holidays collection that we've just released. You can take a look at shopmaxvelocity.net. It's also the very first link in the description for you. This is by far one of the kindest ways to support what we do here, and that's just how we like to help you prepare for your day. Please feel free to look around, and I'll be looking forward to seeing you all again for our next forecast together.